Greetings, this is Top Hat and Buttered Popcorn. My name is John Savers. I'm your host, and today we'll take a look at a couple of films, beginning with Matrix Reloaded. This is a film starring Keanu Reeves as Neo and Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus, and also Carrie-Ann as Trinity. Now, this is the second in a proposed trilogy, and it is a film which is rather long, is endowed with, from beginning to end almost, combat, lengthy fisticuffs, and I think that the appeal for this film would be, to a great extent, adolescents, or those people who could enjoy fantasizing about being unconquerable, invincible, all-powerful, and so forth. I might also merit some attention by the people who attend all the martial arts shops in the vicinity to sort of compare high-kicking techniques. At any rate, this is a film with beaucoup fighting. The special effects are very good, but on the other hand, not really something we haven't seen before. We do also have an innovation in the Mr. Smith character. Mr. Smith apparently has become a glitch, so to speak, himself, but an avenging glitch, and also one which can replicate almost like an amoeba, so that he can turn actually other people into replicas of himself. And as he is basically unkillable, invincible type of creature, we now have an abundance of these avenging glitches, often combating with Neo, who himself we suspect is invincible. And it all just gets very tedious as they are flailing away and kicking and whatnot. Also, we have Neo dressed something after the fashion of a Jesuit for some reason. And that's one aspect of this film which might be noted because this film sort of spans in a way, it kind of touches base with biblical names and places, classical names and places, and spans all the way to presumably the New World Order, the new man for the New World Order in Neo. There are, in this particular film, abundant clues given, but it's almost as if the moviegoer is treated like a rat in a behavioral scientist labyrinth. So he can pursue speculatively all he wants, this, that, or the other thing, but most likely will come to a dead end. Still, for those who like to speculate on what it all means, this is Sweet Home Alabama. Now, the film has as a storyline something like this. The machines are digging furiously to get to Zion to destroy the folks there and Zion entirely. Zion is defended by Commander Locke and his captains of what appear to be spaceships, whatever they are. They are sort of cyber ships, I guess. At any rate, Morpheus is on one called the Nebuchadnezzar, and he is a fellow who believes that they will be saved. Zion will be saved by the One, and that actually Neo is the One, a messianic figure and that all that is required is for the oracle to give forth that which will spur the one to do the salvation gig and put these machines out of business once and for all, perhaps. At any rate, to secure Zion. The storyline proceeds that after a little look at the defenses of Zion and so forth, at the impel of Morpheus, we have Neo going on a kind of pilgrim's progress blended with Alice in Wonderland and blended with the Wizard of Oz. He is eventually to meet the oracle, who tells him that he is a program and she is a program, and the environment in which she is seen to be is also a program, and that Neo knows what's going to happen. Now, the only thing that he does not seem to know is why, and that's something that he'll have to figure out himself. So we see the oracle is something of an annoying Socratic type figure. The lady who plays this particular character is a very engaging sort of woman, and kind of down-home type. She sends a kind of a curious quality into the Neo character, the Keanu Reeves character. He asked, well, what should I do? And she said, why don't you go to the source? And he says, well, how do I get to the source? And she said, well, the keymaker will take you. And he said, well, how will I find the keymaker? And she says, well, he's with one of the earliest model program, a glitch called the Merovingian. And if you go there, he has the keymaker, and you get the keymaker from him, and he'll take you to the source. Well, we all are led to believe that getting to the source is important. So this is the task of this particular film. It's somewhat like Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit's task to get the ring back to that volcanic mountain for destruction. There is that sort of goal. At any rate, we do have that sort of storyline, and we have at the outset a look at Zion, actually. And we see that it's sort of a cavernous, it's like a very large, great atrium within the earth. And the abodes of Zion sort of face the atrium. There's a great hall, there's a basement where the power plant is, and so forth. The film actually opens up with an apparent entry of Trinity into the Matrix on some sort of daring do that results in her having a confrontation with the implacable Mr. Smith. She jumps out a window trying to escape him in the Matrix. He pursues. She is falling and looking upward and firing with her guns, while he is falling downward and firing at her with his. There's quite a lot of shooting. And she seems to have hit him and so forth. He just doesn't, it has no effect, it seems. She herself, however, sustains a mortal wound and is seen to be falling in an ever-weakening position. And then we see Neo, and we understand that this is a dream. He has just been dreaming this. And right next to him in bed is, in fact, Trinity. He gets very nervous. He gets up and goes off, and she eventually pursues him, and you want to talk and so forth. Well, he is concerned for her, and is this an omen, and what? Well, it so happens that it is apparently, for at the very end of the film, we have this thing which was dreamed occur in real life, so to speak. And it causes Neo, who has Superman-like qualities in terms of flying and so forth, to snatch her from her fall, to bring her back up on top of a building with his hand to reach into her body and remove the bullet. And when she succumbs to death, apparently, anyway, to reach in again to her body and to massage her heart with sort of a electrifying hand movement. And ba-boom, it works. She comes out of it. All of this is being witnessed. She's strapped down in the Nebuchadnezzar, and Morpheus and the gang are witnessing this all as she is strapped down. She, kind of spirit-wise, has entered the Matrix. But what happens in the Matrix happens in reality to her body, so there you go. But she is saved, and there's a great cheer, hooray, and whatnot. And toward the end of the film, we see that the Neo character has come into some sort of a problem or other. He is on a couch, and joining him, as if there's going to be some sort of cooperation of some sort, is a man that we met earlier, an officer on one of the other cyber ships, if you will, and a fellow that we know to be a villain. So we'll have to tune in to the final installment of this trilogy to figure out what comes next. Now, this film does have a lot of curiosity about it. They do try to bring forth some humanizing aspects, such as a romantic relationship, actually a triangle between Morpheus and the commander of the cyber ships, the defense of Zion, one Locke, and a female captain of one of these ships named Niobe. Also, the pilot, so to speak, on the Nebuchadnezzar, a fellow named Link, is shown with his wife, and she's concerned about him and so forth. So they do make some attempt to bring in a human element, and I guess as well with all the fighting that goes on in this film that they do suggest that there are other emotions. They also have a way of doing that in the very outset of the film, when we see these clashes in regard to Morpheus and Locke. Locke is your typical military man, thinking in terms of defense and so forth, utilizing his ships as best he can. Morpheus is really the embodiment of faith. He's a man who believes in Neo, in the One. He believes in the Oracle. He believes that salvation will come by means of the One, and that Zion will once and for all be safe and secure thanks to this effort, and perhaps the machines destroyed once and for all. He gives a speech to the gathered at Zion once he brings back his ship, the Nebuchadnezzar, to be rejuiced electrically for further adventures. And during this period, we meet a member of the council who gives us a little tour of Zion en passant. We do have Morpheus talking to the people gathered, kind of giving them a heartening sort of speech, reminding them that they have thwarted the machines for 100 years, that they are people who are victorious, the sons of soldiers are victorious and whatnot, the daughters. And he asked that tonight they set up a shout and a stomp to rock the cavernous rocks and whatnot that they call Zion, all the way up to the machines above who are digging frantically to get to Zion, to let them know that we humans are not defeated. We're still here, we're still going strong. This is accepted, and we see a mass heathen cavorting in the name of dancing with heavy sexual implications and to the accompaniment of drums. And I thought myself that this somehow did not really fit in well with the notion of Zion and the Israelitish Christian part, unless you think about the Israelites cavorting around the golden calf while Moses was on Mount Sinai and getting up to no good. However, we just did not see this as congenial to the imagery which is so heavily biblical. At any rate, this also gives Neo and Trinity a time to reenact. There are curiosities about her name and his. He is, according to Morpheus, the one, and that suggests a messianic figure. Of course, there are implications also of Yeshua, the Christ, Jesus. It looks like Neo has not only the skills of a Superman in terms of flight, but also can heal the lame, the halt, the blind, and so forth. And we see a little bit of that as they bring forth for help, gather outside his abode. Trinity, of course, has that name, which is resoundingly Israelitish Christian. If Neo is the one, did he proceed from Trinity? Hard to say. Also, there are other implications because if Trinity is thought of as a Trinity of Marys, that is, Mary, the mother of Christ, Mary the aunt, and Mary Magdalene, then it sort of suggests a relationship between them which has given birth actually to the descendant Merovingian. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with the Merovingians, this is a group that claims Davidic descent through the union of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And therefore, if Neo is to be perceived as the one, and Trinity is given that interpretation as a sort of Mary Magdalene, and given the fact that the oracle has told Neo that he will have to descend to reach the Merovingian, it sort of has this connection. As I say in this film, there are all sorts of interpretations to be made based on the names of these particular people and the places they go. And I think basically they lead nowhere, but they do give people who like to interpret a chance to do so to the heart's content. Incidentally, the name Morpheus refers to a god of dreams in classical literature, and as such also carries a sense of drugs. And this seems to maybe harken back a little bit to Marx's comment about religion being the opiate of the masses, because again, Morpheus in his speech is a faith-based individual. He believes in the one, the Savior, so to speak, of Zion. So there you go again, and it's kind of hard to escape making some sort of connections here. It's the film invites it so much. But at any rate, on the sort of pilgrim's progress which Neo goes on in search of the source, he finally makes it to the source, which is located in a high-rise where neither elevator nor stairway go. But this is no handicap to a guy with Neo's kind of Superman-like skills. And with the help of the key maker, he does find the right door. He opens it up. We have kind of a blinding white light and he enters, and it looks like he is in a control room in a kind of a TV setup. We see a gentleman, kind of an older fellow, dressed in white suit, it looks like. He's in a room that has 4 walls full of 3 or 4 tiered monitors. And when Neo inquires about him, if he's the source or something of this kind, he says that he's the architect. Well, who is the architect? Is this like the Freemasons' architect, the great architect of the universe? Kind of hard to say, but at any rate, in conversations with Neo, he makes it known that he has 6 versions of the Matrix, a program, the first which was perfect in its program and therefore was a little bit boring. There were no glitches. It went perfectly. It was a smashing success as a program, but unfortunately it caused some boredom apparently in the great architect, so that he made another matrix, another program with glitches, and that the glitches appear as aberrations, program aberrations, and that he also introduced a program aberration deleting mechanism which became known as the agent. And the agent would seek out the glitches to delete them. Some of the glitches, such as the Merovingian, were resourceful and sort of found some interstice to hide in within the cyber sprawl. But at any rate, they were always being searched for to be destroyed. This brought a certain drama into the Matrix, which hitherto had not existed. Since there were 6 programs of Matrix, it suggests the 6 days of God's creation in the Bible. And this also opens up a lot of speculation which goes nowhere. For instance, from whence did the architect come? Was he a young man when he first made his first Matrix? Did he age along with it? Is he forever as he is? We have the idea of a creation out of nothing of the first Matrix by this figure. But this figure does not appear to be immortal. So what gives? Hard to say. Anyway, we have learned from the Oracle in the Pilgrim's Progress that everything's a program, and that the only possibility is that one is a planned program element, or 2, an aberration, a glitch. So you have a universe in which you have machines. We have also a master race, as it were, of machines. And we have a servant group of incubating, as it were, hibernating humans, from which the machines draw energy with which to live. And then there is the 3rd level, the glitches. Now, part of the machine's energy or effort is in the elimination of the glitches, which is a potential disruptor of their world, because if the glitches are successful proselytizing, then they could, of course, do injury to the source of energy, the hibernating humans, so to speak. Well, this is all kind of itself drawing to dead ends in the way, and you get a feeling that this is not tight. But we do have these attempts to get from here to there, to find the source, to understand things, and in my opinion, the whole thing ends up about as confused as when it began. What is my conclusion? Well, let me say this much. Yeah,